Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself, your family, of people around you, spending your time well, and indulging in activities that really interest you. While meanwhile also preparing for the exams coming ahead and keeping check of how you're doing in school in that sense and all of that. So, we shall today go ahead with example lecture of agriculture and natural vegetation and wildlife. So both of these chapters we shall be both of these topics we shall be clubbing together and doing questions together to understand what it is, and following this there will be the assignment that you guys will have to do. So be careful, we shall be going back to the theory that we have covered to do certain of these examples and understand what basically the question asks and how we have supposed to answer it, and some other characteristics, some other ways this question could also be asked. We shall also be seeing how these examples will basically enhance your knowledge if this is not something that we covered in the theory part, and it will help you understand better what you have learned before. So example lectures are important to reinforce the information that you have, and secondly to also learn new things that might not have been done before. All right, so we shall go ahead, let's do this. Example lecture, agriculture and natural vegetation and wildlife. All right. Question number 1. Subsistence farming is characterized by A. Large scale production for export, cultivation for personal consumption, use of modern machinery and technology, or D. Commercialization of crops. So first of all, let's understand, we know what we mean by subsistence farming, but just let's go back and see what subsistence farming actually means. Subsistence farming is a type of agriculture where farmers primarily grow crops and rear animals to meet the needs of their own families. So in here, farmers grow crops and they rear animals. And why is that done? Why are the crops grown? Why are the animals reared? To meet the needs of their own families. It's not for the purpose of commercialization or earning money later. It's just for the basic need. It could be for the fact, they are selling some of these services, but it's not primarily that's the focus. The focus at the end of the day is to meet the needs of their families, to meet the possibly some economic need, or mostly in that case the personal consumption. Okay, so over here the right answer is B, cultivation for personal consumption. Shifting agriculture involves cultivating the same plot of land for many years. No, if you cultivate the same plot of land for many years, what happens? Fertility decreases. And how does fertility decrease? Because soil may nutrients get used up or get washed with time because of the water supply that is given, or get contaminated because of the pesticides that are there. So cultivating the same plot of land for many years does not come under shifting agriculture. Growing multiple crops on a small plot of land, no, that's something else. Moving from one plot of land to another over time, yes, this is what shifting agriculture actually means. That you grow crops over one piece of land for some amount of time, and after some time, let's say 2-3 years, you clear out the region, you let the plot gain back its fertility, and then you move to another plot of land, and over there with time, what do? That you grow crops over there, and with time this other plot in the meantime regenerates its nutrients and rejuvenates back to a more fertile land than it was the time that you were growing crops over there. Question number 3. Intensive subsistence farming is characterized by. Now, subsistence farming has two categories. If we studied it, let's see if we did or not. Yes, we studied three categories under subsistence farming. One was shifting agriculture, where farmers clear a small patch of land and cultivate it for a few years until the soil fertility declines. Then we studied intensive and primitive subsistence. So it's small land holding with high labor input and low use of machinery. So it's intensive as in the labor input is high and machinery and tools used are less. Okay, so intensive subsistence farming is characterized by large land holdings and extensive machinery use. No. Growing a single crop on a large scale. No. High labor input and multiple cropping. Yes, this is something that actually comes close. We are not sure yet about the multiple cropping. It could be a single crop, it could be multiple crops, but the thing is, what two categories are under intensive subsistence farming which make it intensive subsistence farming? One is high labor input and the other is low use of machinery. Okay, so this is what actually makes it intensive subsistence farming. Question number 4. Pastoral communities practice which type of farming? Is it A, commercial farming? Is it B, pastoral farming? Is it C, mixed farming? Or is it D, shifting agriculture? So pastoral communities, as the name suggests, they practice pastoral farming. Pastoral farming is basically more characterized more by livestock rearing. So they depend more on animals than on crop for their farming when it comes to pastoral farming. So pastoral farmers usually are seen, pastoral communities usually are seen, herding a bunch of a crowd of animals rather than indulging more in agriculture or indulging more in growing crops and harvesting them. Plantation agriculture is commonly associated with the cultivation of A, wheat and rice, B, millets and maize, C, coffee and tea, or D, cotton and jute. So plantation agriculture is commonly associated with what? Wheat and rice? No, both of them are food crops. First of all, what characterizes plantations is A, cash crop, and B, large land holdings. One single cash crops also at that. Millets and maize? No. C, coffee and tea. Even though maize is a commercial crop rather than a food crop, it still does not come under plantation agriculture. So over here, coffee and tea. The right option is C, coffee and tea. You must have heard of coffee plantations. There are also various ads that you must see. Okay, not must see, but you must have seen when you are like, of brew of Nescafe, and they bring in, they show you this visual representation of a tea plantation of or a coffee plantation, and they show how people are actually picking those the fruit or the beans and later utilizing it to make coffee. So coffee and tea are the two crops which are associated with plantation agriculture. Which farming system involves the cultivation of crops alongside the rearing of livestock? So there's cultivation of crops as well, and then there is rearing of livestock as well. Which of these farming system is that's like a very characterizing feature, that's like a very peculiar, or I won't say peculiar, but that is something that is associated with it. So which of this farming is it? It's mixed farming. Question number 7. Market gardening refers to large-scale cultivation of grains, growing crops for personal consumption, intensive cultivation of fruits and vegetables, or cultivating crops using traditional methods. So, is market gardening large cultivation of grains? No, that's commercial grain farming. Is it growing crops for personal consumption? No, that's subsistence agriculture. Is it intensive cultivation of fruits and vegetables? That is something that comes close to it, even though that's like not the right way of defining market gardening, because it also involves selling this local markets. So intensive cultivation of fruits and vegetables and later selling them in the local markets. But since we have half the answer, which is better than what other options we have, so it so happens certain times that the options that you have, all of them look wrong to you. So what do you do in that case? You go and you correct the most likely answer rather than leaving the question alone. Unless and until it's a negative marking question, just don't do that, and answer the ones that you are like, a little dicey about and you think that this could be a wrong answer. Just try not to, just sometimes go with your instincts. It's very less times, but still. Which crop is primarily associated with commercial grain farming? So, is rice, wheat, maize, or millets? Which of these crops is primarily associated with commercial grain farming? Let's see what commercial grain farming is. I think we studied this. Yeah, it's large scale cultivation of grain crops like wheat, rice, maize, etc. for commercial purposes. Machinery and modern techniques are used to increase productivity. Alright, so here it mentions all the three: wheat, rice, maize, etc. for commercial purposes. Okay, but again, see, again, this is something that could have multiple answers, which is rice, wheat, maize, probably millets as well, even though they did not mention it, but there was an etc. to it. So it could be either of these. So what do we do in that case? We just go with an answer which is more likely. So rice and wheat are also food crops, and maize, though is considered a food crop certain places, it's more of a commercial crop. So the right answer is C, maize. So the thing is, maize is rice and wheat are very commonly eaten around in India or anywhere. I mean, it depends over here. We also need to look at the context of things. So right now we're looking at India over here. Rice and wheat can be grown elsewhere, but maize, rice and wheat are grown everywhere for the purpose of consumption in India, more so, and they are a staple food that we have in our diet. Maize is not something that's very staple in our diet, and it is hence not associated more with food, as a food crop, but rather as a commercial or a cash crop at times. Commercial dairy farming involves the production of meat from cattle and sheep, milk from dairy animals, wool from sheep, or eggs from poultry. So, commercial dairy farming involves milk from dairy animals, as the name suggests, dairy farming. Okay. Which term refers to an area of land reserved by the government for the protection of specific animal species? You know what, let's just read through what we wrote about. Yeah, look at these points over here. These 3 points that you see, let's try to remember what this means. National parks are protected areas owned by the government, safeguarded against human exploitation, industrialization, and pollution. Wildlife sanctuaries are natural areas reserved by government or private agencies to protect specific animal species, with hunting and fishing either prohibited or strictly controlled. Biosphere reserves are dedicated areas set aside for conserving the resources of the biosphere, supporting long-term scientific research and education. Okay, so you see these are in some ways hierarchical. If you see, so national park is relatively smaller, and but of course there are large national parks. It's like the scope of that park is relatively smaller, and the scope wildlife sanctuaries are natural areas reserved by government or private agencies to protect specific animal species, whereas biosphere reserve is for conserving the resources of an entire biosphere. Okay, so it's like, it's probably the area increases, or it's probably the scope of the area, as in how do I make you understand this? Okay, look at this. At one point of time, a national park only has animals over there. Okay, it only has animals over there, whereas let's go here. Protection of specific animal species. National park it's an area which has species of animals as well as plants. But when you look at a wildlife sanctuary, it is an area which is primarily dominated by the fact that it needs to protect the specific animal species which are around it. Okay, so the right answer in this case is A, wildlife sanctuary, because it is a land reserved by the government for protection of specific animal species. The Serengeti National Park in Tanzania is known for the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania. Remember this name. This is something that we did not cover in the theory lecture. So where is the Serengeti National Park located? It is located in Tanzania. And what is it known for? Dense tropical rainforests, vast grasslands and wild beast migration, Arctic tundra and polar bears, or coastal mangrove forests. So the right answer is B, vast grasslands and wild beast migration. The Arctic tundra is characterized by A, snow-capped mountains and tall trees, B, extensive grasslands and grazing herbivores, or C, harsh cold climate and low-growing vegetation, or D, dry hot temperatures and desert-like conditions. So Arctic tundra is something that we did not study. Why? Because we are studying, basically we are trying to study the forest area in India. And India, fortunately or unfortunately, maybe the variety is not there, but it's fortunate actually. There should not be such drastic changes. The Arctic tundra is characterized by harsh cold climate and low growing vegetation. So in the Arctic tundra, the climate is very cold. It's so cold, it's considered harsh. Harsh is another word for something that's very brutal, something that's very just very tough, very difficult. Okay, and low growing vegetation. The vegetation also does not grow there a lot. So it is not something that India as a country in its wide, like in its super wide scope carries or has. So the thing is, it is and hence we did not study about Arctic tundra, but now that we have covered it, now that it's in the questions, we shall be going ahead with it. And the right answer is C, harsh cold climate with low growing vegetation. Which type of forest is dominated by trees that produce cones and have needle-like leaves? Cones and have needle-like leaves. So first of all, where are trees like this found? They are found in mountainous / alpine regions. Okay, so what is this type of forest? Is it deciduous forest? No. Evergreen? No. C, coniferous? Yes. The name in itself says coniferous forest, and hence this is the right answer. Which desert is the largest hot desert in the world? Sahara Desert, Gobi Desert, Mojave Desert, Atacama Desert. So the right answer is A, Sahara Desert, which is the largest hot desert in the world. The savanna grasslands are not found in which continents? So savanna grasslands are something that's pretty common in everywhere, almost all the continents. Let me just look at this. Found in tropical and subtropical regions with a mix of grasses and scattered trees. This is savanna grassland. Okay, so it's pretty common in almost every continent actually. Hence, the answer is not that where it is found. It's asked where is it not found. So we just saw it's found in tropical and subtropical regions, right? And which of this does not have neither of these? Africa, South America are big continents, so they might have tropical and subtropical regions as you know the belts form around it or whatever. North America is also not the right answer. The right answer is C, Antarctica, where savanna grasslands are not found. Which crop is primarily grown in saline and alkaline soils? So which crop is primarily grown in saline? The thing is, saline and alkaline soils are not very fit for growth because saline contains, as the name says, saline, it contains a lot of salts. And saying alkaline, it is a basic soil. So the pH is basic rather than being neutral or being a little acidic. And which of these primarily is grown in saline and alkaline soils? Wheat, rice, maize. Now we know that all these three require normal soils or alluvial soils to grow. Of course, sugarcane will also grow, but the thing is, sugarcane can also be grown in saline and alkaline soils as well. Millets are suitable crops for desert regions, coastal regions, mountainous regions, or D, arid regions. So the right answer over here is C, mountainous regions. Probably could be arid or desert regions depending on the amount of rainfall that they have, because millets, even though they require less amount of rainfall, they do require it. Okay, rice cultivation requires a climate that is cool and dry, B warm and humid, C hot and arid, or D cold and wet. So the right answer is B warm and humid. Question number 19. In which decade was the first Indian national park, Haley National Park, now Jim Corbett National Park, established? So, again, this is not something that we covered before, but it's an important vital information, because it is the first Indian national park which was known as the Haley National Park, which is now called the Jim Corbett National Park. It is situated in Uttarakhand, and where was it? When was it established, basically? So, the right answer is A, 1936. Question 20. The Kaziranga National Park, known for its conservation efforts for the Indian one-horned rhinoceros, was established in which year? So the Kaziranga Park is something that you must have heard of. It's if I'm not wrong, it's situated in Assam. When I was a kid, we studied this actually, like when I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade. That point of time, I still remember it. Anyways, the Kaziranga National Park, known for its conservation efforts for the Indian one-horned rhinoceros, was established in which year? So, the thing is, Kaziranga has a little story to it. So, what the thing was that in 1908, it was declared a reserved forest area. Then in 1950, it was later declared a wildlife sanctuary. And then somewhere around 1940, yes, so it has a story to it, as I said, So it was in 1950, it was made a wildlife sanctuary. And then in 1974, it was given the, if you could say, the title of a national park. Alright, and in 1984, if I'm not wrong, 1985, this year, it was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but that could be a wrong information. So let's just check into that one. But yes, in 1908 it was named a reserved forest. 1950 it was named a wildlife sanctuary, and then in 1974 it was named a national park. And therefore, the right answer over here, known for its conservation, since we are referring to the name national park, see, the thing is, it could be anything. It could be actually none of these options are there, so the right answer is 1974 only. But if these options are also given there, the national park, known for its conservation efforts for Indian one-horned rhinoceros, was established in which year? I think you shall go for 1974, because it as a national park was only established then, even though it was established in 1984 as a reserved forest. Question 21. Which type of forest was found in the drier regions of India, characterized by trees that shed their leaves during the dry season? So, which of the forests which is found in drier regions of India is actually known for shedding its leaf during the dry season? It's B, deciduous forest. There are also two types of deciduous forests. One is moist, the other is dry. And how are they characterized? They are characterized by the rainfall pattern in that area. Where it's more moist deciduous trees are found, and where it's relatively less, it's dry deciduous trees are found. What is the primary difference between tropical moist deciduous and tropical dry deciduous forests? So we just discussed this. A, rainfall pattern, B, temperature variation, C, soil fertility, or D, animal species diversity. Now A and B both could be the answer, because of temperature variations only the rainfall patterns follow mostly, but we have a more clearer answer in front of us, and that is A, rainfall pattern. Which type of forest is known for its dense canopy and high biodiversity? Tropical dry deciduous forest, arid forest, tropical evergreen forest, or D, mountainous forest? So which of these forests is known for its dense canopy and high biodiversity? C, tropical evergreen forests. The thing is, the trees are so tall and they are so lush, the leaves are so broad that they form a canopy, that they kind of form a roof over the surface of over the above, as in like this is how the canopy are. So very less light is received by the ground, and there are less amount of shrubs and herbs growing over there, but the biodiversity is a lot, since there are like a lot of trees, and like a lot of lush big trees. Which type of forest is adapted to withstand drought and extreme heat? Tropical moist deciduous forest, B arid forest. Yes, the answer is B arid forest. Arid forests are adapted. They have adapted the plant life over there, the vegetation over there has adapted itself to the kind of climate that that area has, and hence they are used to surviving in pretty bad conditions, as in pretty extreme conditions of the environment. The leading producer of tea in India is, okay, let's go back to this table that we studied. Let's revise this. Okay, so the leading producer of rice and jute is West Bengal. The leading producer of wheat and sugarcane is Uttar Pradesh. The leading producer of maize and coffee is Karnataka. The leading producer of oil seeds and cotton is Gujarat. Soya bean is Madhya Pradesh, and tea is Assam. So Assam is the top producer of tea, and that is what we were looking for in our answer, and hence the right answer is A, Assam. Which crop is primarily associated with the states of Punjab and Haryana? So Punjab and Haryana are together responsible for giving a high yield of this crop. But what crop is it? Is it rice, wheat, maize, sugarcane? Could be either, because Punjab and Haryana are areas where alluvial deposits are found. So it could be either of this, but the right answer in this case is B, wheat. The White Revolution in India is related to the significant increase in the production of milk. Very true. White Revolution, the name itself suggests that it's milk. Which type of crop is cultivated on a small scale for personal use and local consumption? So question number 28 asks us, is it cash crop or subsistence crop or commercial crop or horticulture crop? Which of these crops is used on small scale for personal consumption, personal or local consumption? It's B, subsistence crop. Kharif crops are sown in India during, Kharif crops are when, okay, you know what, let's go back and revise this part. It's very necessary, right? Let's see from Rabi crops itself. Rabi crops are sown in the winter season and harvested in the spring season. Examples are wheat, barley, oats. Now, you see the sowing time. So, during cooler months, they are sown, and hence they require mild and cool climate, which ranges from 10 to 25 degrees Celsius over this period of time. From October till May, the temperatures should range from somewhere around 10 to 25 degrees Celsius. It falls low as well, but by that time, the crop can withstand certain amount of temperatures. Yes, Kharif crops are sown in monsoon season, and one of the biggest example is rice. If you live in somewhere near rural areas, you must have seen people planting those saplings of rice during when it's raining and all of that. People get on their heads, people take umbrellas, or they put sacks on their heads to protect themselves from the water, and they continue doing their work. And for Zaid are short duration crops that are grown in between Rabi and Kharif crops. And when is that? What time is used for growing Zaid crops? Okay, let's see. So since Kharif crops are grown in June, July and harvested in October, these Zaid crops are and then Rabi crops are grown in October and they are harvested in March to May. So let's see where Zaid crops fall after in the next question. Anyways, Kharif crops are sown in during the monsoon season, and winter season is Rabi crops. Now, Zaid crops are grown between September to October, June to July, March to May. March to May is the harvesting time for yes, March to May is the harvesting season for Rabi crops, and September to October is the harvesting season for Kharif crops. So where does that leave us with Zaid crops? Zaid crops are grown between September to October, or is it October to December? Just let's just look, put this here. Rabi, monsoon, Kharif, sorry, Rabi, winter, monsoon. Okay, so monsoon months are June, July. Kharif crops are grown during that time. Rabi crops are grown during winter, which is October to December. And March to May is the harvesting time for Rabi crops. So the answer that we have over here is B, September to October. Question number 31. What were the major components of the Green Revolution in India? So what were the major components for Green Revolution? Adoption of modern farming techniques with high yielding crop varieties? Yes. Expansion of irrigation facilities? Yes. Increased use of fertilizers? Yes. And so the answer is D, all of the above. Which state is the largest producer of cotton in India? We just looked at the list. The right answer is B, Gujarat. Which state is the largest producer of rice in India? So which state is producing rice, a lot of it? It's B, West Bengal. Project Dolphin was announced in which year? So Project Dolphin is has been launched to obviously, as the name suggests, protect dolphins. And when was this announced? It was announced in 2020. The Crocodile Conservation Project, initiated in 1975, aims to conserve crocodile species in India, including. So there is a conservation project called Crocodile Conservation Project, which was initiated in 1975. And what does it aim? It aims to conserve crocodile species. And which of these crocodile species does it want to conserve? Saltwater crocodile, ghadial, freshwater crocodile, or all of these? So the right answer is all of these. This is an information that you could keep in mind. 1 point is this, 1 point is this, and 1 point is this. What is the name, when was it initiated, and which of the species does it aim to conserve? Question 36. Project Lion was launched in 2004 with the aim of conserving which species of lion in India? African lion, Asiatic lion, Siberian lion, or Barbary lion? So the right answer is B, Asiatic lion. Yes, so this was something that we actually had not covered in the projects under it. So this is new information to you, but this is also a very important information. Please note that down. And yeah, just I hope you have noted other things that we'd not done before and followed through with the questions as well. So with this, we end this lecture, and if you have any queries, if you have any problems, what shall we do? We shall go back to the notes. We shall try to search it on Google, but that's for later. We shall go back to the notes. We shall look at the questions that have been done. We shall try to see if it fits in anywhere in the questions that were done, and then we shall refer to the books, or we can begin with referring to the books. Then we can refer to the Google, and we can ask our queries over there. But yes, I hope there are no queries as such. Just keep listening and keep making notes, keep understanding. So with that, I shall take leave from you, and yeah, goodbye. We shall meet again. Take care.